Since their takeover by Roman Abramovich in June 2003, Chelsea have become one of the most successful sides not just in the English, but within the European game. Particularly during Abramovich's first decade in West London, the Blues spent a small fortune on player transfer fees, wages, and, more often than not, paying off sacked managers. The Russian oligarch has also pumped a large amount of money into Chelsea's youth development and recruitment, which has paid dividends at junior level. Chelsea's academy has won the FA Youth Cup in 7 of the last 10 seasons, a degree of dominance which the tournament had never seen before, in addition to winning the UEFA Youth League twice as well. More often than not though, Chelsea have produced or helped develop very good players for other teams rather than themselves, and whilst this has been useful for their bottom line, it has done little for the first team. There are plenty of signs that is changing under Frank Lampard, partly through necessity, and the likes of Andreas Christensen, Tammy Abraham, Reece James, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Fikayo Tomori, all products of the Blues youth system, are now currently first team players. That hasn't always been the case though, and in today's video, we're going to take a look at a fantasy 11 made up only of players sold by Chelsea in recent times. To be clear, they don't need to have come through the Chelsea Academy, and the 11 is based on the player's current ability. Here is our best 11 of players sold by Chelsea. Goalkeeper: Thibaut Courtois. I have been a touch critical of Thibaut Courtois in the past, but there's no doubt that he is the best goalkeeper in the world to have been sold by Chelsea right now. The Real Madrid number 1 was signed by the Blues for €9 million following an impressive breakout season at Genk in 2011. But it would take him some time to break into the first team at Stamford Bridge. Dislodging Petr Cech was never likely to be easy, and it took 2 very impressive seasons on loan with Atletico Madrid to convince Jose Mourinho that Courtois was capable of stepping up as number 1. Following 4 seasons with the club and an excellent 2018 World Cup, Courtois pushed for a big money move to Real Madrid. He got his wish, but the towering Belgian has enjoyed mixed form since heading to the Spanish capital. Right back: Juan Cuadrado. I know what some of you are thinking. Juan Cuadrado isn't a right back, and certainly during his time in the Premier League, you would be right. As regular viewers of Serie A will know though, the pacey Colombian 31-year-old has displayed his versatility since arriving in Turin. Such a quick and direct wide man with good movement, Cuadrado set Chelsea back a reported €30 million in 2015, following 2.5 excellent seasons with Fiorentina. He barely featured in England though, instead returning to Italy with Juventus firstly on loan and then on a permanent in 2017. Capped 90 times by Colombia, Cuadrado can play anywhere on the right flank, whether it be as a fullback, wingback, or in his preferred role as an out-and-out winger, and he sees off fellow Turin-based Chelsea ex-Al, Olorena, for a right-back berth. Centre-back: Branislav Ivanovic. There will be those who disagree with my selections at centre-back, but personally, I would rather have a 35-year-old Branislav Ivanovic at the heart of my back four than David Luiz right now. For good reason too, since the Serbian powerhouse has been superb since returning to the Russian Premier League with Zenit St. Petersburg. Ivanovic spent 9 years at Stamford Bridge, and following a disastrous start in which he looked destined for the exit door, he managed to turn things around and departed in 2017 as a bit of a cult hero. The timing seemed right for Ivanovic to move on, and he's probably surprised a lot of people with his performances at Zenit. Centre-back: Nathan Ake. An obvious inclusion in this 11, Nathan Ake is a very good centre-back who Chelsea would most likely love to have back at Stamford Bridge now. The 24-year-old was always highly rated in West London, but just grew frustrated with his lack of game time and sought a move elsewhere. He got his wish in 2017, following half a season on loan at Bournemouth, when he joined the Cherries on a permanent deal for a club record £20 million. Bournemouth took a risk paying that much money for the Dutchman, but he would now be worth far more, having proven himself to be a centre-back of international calibre. Ake has been capped 13 times by the Netherlands, despite exceptional competition with the national team in his position, and he's likely to move on from Bournemouth and return to a team with loftier ambitions at some stage. Left back: Felipe Luiz. It was a tight call at left back with 3 excellent candidates in the forms of Ryan Bertrand, Patrick Van Aanholt and Felipe Luiz. Luiz is the right choice though, and he has been one of the best left backs in the world over the last 10 years. The Brazilian, who has won 44 caps for his country despite stiff competition from Marcelo, spent just a single season at Stamford Bridge. He joined the Blues for a reported £15.8 million from Atletico Madrid in 2014, but was reunited with Diego Simeone just 12 months later for an undisclosed fee. His failure to establish himself at Chelsea was primarily due to Jose Mourinho's fondness of Cesar Azpilicueta in his newfound role at left-back, but Luis was just as good for Atletico upon his return. Now aged 34, he recently moved back to Brazil with Flamengo, where he has already won the Campeonato Brasileiro, the Copa Libertadores, and reached a Club World Cup final. Central midfield. Cesc Fabregas. We have two central or sitting midfielders in this 11 who had totally different Chelsea careers. We start with Cesc Fabregas, who spent 4.5 years at the Bridge, during which time he made 198 appearances. His signing raised a few eyebrows given his links to Arsenal, and the Spaniard was absolutely outstanding upon his return to the English game. In his first season at Chelsea, Fabregas made 18 league assists, the second most of any player in a single season during the Premier League era. He left Chelsea a year ago, having won 5 trophies, including 2 Premier League titles, and with the second most assists during the Premier League era, trailing only Ryan Giggs, who played far more games than him. Fabregas now plays for Monaco at age 32. He's a surefire starter in this 11. Central midfield. Jack Cork. While Cesc Fabregas played close to 200 games at Chelsea and played a pivotal role in the club winning 2 league titles, his central midfield partner in this 11 never actually made a competitive appearance for the Blues. Jack Cork joined the Chelsea Academy at the age of 9 and departed aged 22, having gone out on loan a whopping 8 times. A regular for England at every single youth level, he joined Southampton in 2011. Incredibly, now aged 30, the industrious central or defensive midfielder won his first England cap and joined Burnley in 2017, off the back of 2.5 years with Swansea. Cork's excellent stamina and fantastic work ethic make him a perfect fit under Sean Dyche, and he'd have to provide plenty of legs in midfield for us in alongside Cesc Fabregas. Attacking midfield. Kevin De Bruyne. Chelsea have let some real talent go in recent years, but the one they really ought to kick themselves for is Kevin De Bruyne. Signed from Genk like Thibaut Courtois, De Bruyne showed signs of his rare ability in his 9 appearances for the club. However, following an excellent season on loan at Werder Bremen, Chelsea let De Bruyne join Wolfsburg in 2013 for £18 million. 2 years later, having just won the Bundesliga Player of the Year award, the Belgian midfielder returned to the Premier League in a £55 million move to Manchester City. Some criticised the fee at the time, but it now looks like a bona fide bargain. Strong, athletic and two-footed, De Bruyne has tremendous vision and awareness, he's brilliant on the ball, and he scores and creates goals at will. I've often said he's the best player in the Premier League, and to be honest, I don't think anyone comes particularly close, and he's the standout player in this 11. Right wing. Mohamed Salah. Kevin De Bruyne is the best player in this 11, and the man up next is the player who runs him closest. Chelsea knew full well what Mohamed Salah was capable of when they signed him in 2014, with the Egyptian already having caused them nightmares whilst playing for Basel. Chances were at a premium in a talented Chelsea side though, and Salah spent 2 of his 3 years with Chelsea out on loan. He joined Roma for €15 million in 2016, and 12 months later he too was back in the Premier League, with Liverpool having agreed a potential €40 million fee for the wide man. His first season at Anfield was absolutely tremendous, and he scored an incredible 44 goals, and the season and a half since have been pretty impressive as well. A seriously quick and prolific wide man, Salah is an obvious inclusion on the right wing in this 11. Left wing. Eden Hazard. When talking about Kevin De Bruyne and Mohamed Salah, you're thinking of players who Chelsea didn't properly nurture or quite appreciate just how good they could become. That wasn't the case with Eden Hazard, who joined the club following a heated transfer battle as one of the most highly regarded young footballers on earth. The Belgian's performances at Lille had put him on the map, and he backed up those displays in the most watched league in the world. Hazard was an immediate success in West London, making a remarkable 62 appearances in his debut campaign as the Blues won the Europa League. He went on to win 6 trophies and 4 Chelsea Player of the Year awards in 7 seasons with the club, preceding a move to Real Madrid last summer worth in excess of €100 million. Centre forward. Romelu Lukaku. Romelu Lukaku was a player even Chelsea themselves seemed to know was bound to go on to bigger and better things after leaving the club. Even after proving his class on loan at West Brom and Everton, Chelsea just didn't quite seem to be the perfect fit for the big Belgian. As such, he joined Everton on a permanent deal, commanding a £28 million fee, having been one of the most prolific footballers of the Premier League era at his age. In 3 seasons at Goodison Park, Lukaku scored 71 goals in 133 games, consistently troubling the Premier League scoring charts. In July 2017, Lukaku joined Manchester United for an initial £75 million and a potential £90 million, making him one of the most expensive footballers of all time. Things didn't quite work out at Old Trafford, and Lukaku has since signed for Inter Milan, where he has scored 14 goals in 22 games thus far into his debut campaign at the San Siro. That's my personal starting 11 made up only of players sold by Chelsea. All the players fall into one of 3 categories: either they played well for Chelsea and pushed for a move elsewhere like Thibaut Courtois and Eden Hazard, they had their time with the club and just left when the timing seemed right like Branislav Ivanovic and Cesc Fabregas, or they never really got much of a shot in the Blues' first team like everyone else. On the bench for our sold by Chelsea 11, my picks would be Asmir Begovic, David Luiz, Ryan Bertrand, Nemanja Matic, Oscar, Thorgan Hazard and Daniel Sturridge. Even with those 7 substitutes, I have still left out the likes of Thomas Callas, Ola Aina, Gary Cahill, Nathaniel Chalabar, Loic Remy, Ramirez, Juan Mata, Andre Schürrle and many more. A front 4 of Salah, Hazard, De Bruyne and Lukaku would make this team among the finest attacking outfits in world football right now, and it's a sign of the class that Chelsea have let through the door that someone as talented as Thorgan Hazard doesn't even make the starting 11. Let us know in the comments which players you think Chelsea were stupidest to sell, who from their current crop do you think could be one that gets away in the future, and any other video ideas you'd like to see from me. Thank you all for watching, go and smash the like button if you found this video even mildly watchable or entertaining, and do of course make sure you are subscribed for similarly watchable content in the future.